curiosity. Um,
Oh, did you? I mean, I can like expand
yeah, please.
entirely. I don't know if it'll be included in the recording or not, but we
Um,
can.
well, the thing is, like, you can describe it any way that you want. I hate having like those generic, like basic questions because I feel like everybody has their own like personal experience. Obviously, like you started from somewhere, you built yourself up, you've kind of been able to make your own platform, and I like those personal stories. It's not a general story, it's like it's
Okay.
you more than anything else.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. So I was a well. I'll start from the beginning. I went to college. I majored in psychology, and I studied media studies, and then I went
Okay.
off to grad school to study media and TV,
Okay.
television. And after grad school, I was a news producer. I worked in the industry for about 3+ years in news. And it was great, but I really didn't enjoy it as much. It's a very intense environment, and also the pay isn't great. So I wanted to find something new and different, and I came across this person who was a phone sex operator, and I was really curious. So I learned more about phone sex operating and being a cam model, and I thought, well, why not try out a little bit of it, but live a double life to not really
Uh-huh.
jump into it as much.
People will think this is
So
a complete movie, but like this is total reality right here.
yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I when I was a news producer, I also sold panties on the side, and I did camming in live cam rooms, but with like a mask that hid half of my face because I didn't want the people at my job to know what I was up to when I wasn't in the newsroom. And I found that I was really great. I was a great phone sex operator. My customers loved me. I was camming. People loved my personality.
Mhm.
And I
I'm
decided
kind of seeing why. Yeah.
and I decided, you know what? I don't like this job, and I'm just gonna take a leap of faith and do phone sex for a couple of months and see what happens. So I did, and I did pretty well. And then finally, someone was like, "Hey, I love having phone sex with you. Can I see you on camera?" And that's when I was like, "Well, I have nothing else to lose." So then
Kind of true.
I, yeah, I did one-on-one cam shows without a mask and used toys and just went all out. And then now today, after doing that, I started Design Your Dream Girl, which is a fantasy fulfillment authentic connection with me where I offer camming, messaging, as well as custom videos that someone may want to explore. But that's what I do now. And then I also have my podcast, Spicy Spectrum, where I dive deep into male desire as well as sexuality from an adult entertainer's point of view. I feel like there's a lot when it comes to male sexuality and adult entertainment that align, but we don't often talk about or
The
discuss.
the
So,
issue I feel the most is there's not enough representation where
mhm.
okay, let's be honest. There's an agenda to push that, sex work is considered like, OnlyFans and, you have like the porn stars, you have like some of these gay people that go ahead and interview. Like the reality is you have real passionate people throughout, like you said, like the spectrum. You go from like escorts, and then the other side is you have strippers, you can have exotic dancers, go-go dancers is a great example.
Mhm.
These are all performers and entertainers. It is a form of entertainment and art. And I mean, it dates back even thousands of years ago. The Greeks saw this as entertainment and art. The Romans saw this as entertainment and art. Like, yeah, they had a lot of problems and issues, but it's a part of adulthood. We have fetishes. We fantasize about things. We want to try new, intimate experiences. Right? I'm not
Mhm.
alone here. I hope not.
No, yeah. I mean, it is. I think I do understand people's concern when it comes to like when people take those platforms and they misuse them for illegal activity, but consensual entertainment is a part of what makes us human. I don't know why all of a sudden people are like against like sex work when strip clubs have been around forever. But
And some of
I
those
think we should
girls
normalize
work their fucking
it.
asses off, okay? They are
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
real performers, all right? It's like, come on, man. Like, have some freaking respect. You try dancing on a freaking pole. Dead ass.
It's a lot of
You,
work.
yeah, and you're like, they gotta wear like specific type of heels. They usually have to be like really high. I'm like,
Your arm, like,
yeah, you gotta build muscle strength. And like, I
yep,
knew a stripper that I spoke with. She used to work out. So she used to have like this like workout cardio. She had two kids. She was a single mom. Okay, like she's trying to support herself. She likes fitness and she's great at dancing. And she happens to have chose that as her feel like regardless of the circumstances. Why is
yeah,
that bad? I don't know. I just it's hard for me to understand the other side. That's my issue.
yeah. I think people are. I don't know if it's just here in the states, but I don't know. I think people are so shameful of sex and masturbation, and people embracing that, and that makes people feel uncomfortable. I think is a big part of it. Like we don't like to talk about it as much. I mean, I talk about it, and
Oh
it,
yeah, honey, we
yeah.
could talk about sex for hours, girl. We got a lot of shit to unbuckle. Oh shit, that's men on men. Sorry. I keep on getting I think though, I think something even like especially important what you're doing is podcasting. You know, like podcasting is an art in itself, right?
Mhm.
But where you're able to take your own experience, you know, with the work that you've done with your clientele, the kind of things that you understand from the industry. Again, like your own personal perspective, because I don't work in the industry.
Yeah.
You do. You know, you have that perspective and mindset to bring that to the table, which opens up a lot of doors. Like there are fakers that are talking for people like you, and I'm like,
Mhm.
but you're not really in the industry, or you're like in the
Right.
illegal parts of it. You know, like the drug trafficking and
Right.
non-consensual shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do talk for us. Yeah, the sex traffickers and like people like to put us all in one. And it's like there's a reason why there's a word for sex trafficking and then sex work. Like there's
Two different
it's two
things.
different
Two
things. Like
different things.
yeah, and a lot of people talking for us who like to have assumptions of who we are online. And so that's actually part of the reason why I made my podcast too is because like you said, like it gives a perspective from me and not other people who don't even work in our industry talking for us, like the
And
real honest truth.
and
So,
it's you know what honestly it is the cold hard truth of we're and I've realized this as a gay man that with homosexuals we're more open when it comes to intimacy and nudity. You know,
hmm
I had the experience of going to a gay sauna like 2 weeks ago, and when you try to explain that to a straight male, they're like, "Wait, what? Gay people do that, but like, don't you take advantage of each other?" I'm like, "No, I mean, there's some creeps, but hands off, buddy." It was like baffling to me for a second because again, it's coming from those two sides where you have two males that both sexually are attracted to the opposite thing. But what's odd is that I have more in common with the female than I have with because obviously girls feel threatened around straight guys. Like you're in a place with a
hmm
bunch of straight guys, like, is he gonna touch me non-consensually? You know what I mean?
yeah.
And that I think that's the most important word that we have to like point out today is consensual and non-consensual.
hmm
Okay? We're talking about consensual things here, you know? Like a person walks into a strip club like you're making a consensual decision to walk into that place and see performers. right?
Mhm. Yeah. No, yeah, it's true. Even in like when I get phone sex calls or camming, I feel like my customers who are more sexually fluid are more comfortable with like talking about it. And uh when I get well now like my straight customers, some of them are comfortable because they've been on these sites for years. But I feel like I do see the difference too with like the shame, I think, that comes with a lot of straight men. If you want to narrow it down too in terms of the interactions I get online. But yeah, no, it is interesting to see who's comfortable and who's not with sexuality.
And the thing, like, I know I'm gonna bring up the word spectrum, but it's true. It's very much a spectrum because you have the opposite side of it where there are those men that are still very controlling within the industry, meaning that they
Mhm.
have workers that are non-consensual and they're not treated correctly and they are being held, at they can't leave. They're under like that is not the same thing. I think that like it exists, but the issue is that if you put yourself in that mindset of where like, oh, everything is like that,
Mhm.
I don't think that's true. I hope not. You really hope not. The
Mhm.
media paints it otherwise. It's like, oh no, 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 no. The reason why we ban most of the sex industry is because most of it's non-consensual. But
And
again, like,
it's right.
yeah,
It's really silly. I don't know. I just feel like it's just so many excuses when for me the industry is a reflection of our desires, whether it's in the moment or it's just a fantasy, and we just don't like to admit that humans can be nasty in a good way. Like, like to explore your body, and we just don't like to just ad- admit that we all have sex and we all like it.
I mean, everybody has sex, which is crazy. Like, I think, you know, I agree. There should be differentiations between with children and with adults. Okay, and
Mhm.
let's be honest, like the porn industry has a lot of problems, especially when it comes to child pornography in this country. Okay, and there's definitely porn addictions and things of that nature, but I think that if we are not allowing ourselves to have those open conversations, okay, I could tell you honestly, like I have friends of mine that are girls and I have open sexual conversations with them. It's not like I'm trying to get in their freaking pants.
Yeah.
It's that we're friends and it's something that's on my mind and I want to hear her perspective on it. And when people get into wanting to do something intimate with each other, even on a first date, okay, these are all consensual things. If somebody wants to log in and want to make that phone call or whatever, I think we just need to get out of our heads that when you're a certain age, we want to do things. And it's
Yeah.
okay. But like we got to separate
It's
that. Like, yeah, there's kids, there's
mhm.
teenagers, and there's adults. 100%. Like, there's certain things that I don't think teenagers and kids should be
Oh yeah.
exposed to. Like, but when you're at a consensual age, like, come on, man. Like, you paid her
Yeah.
$300, okay?
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, what happens in the bedroom should stay in the bedroom. If you want to have your ass slapped or
Or
be
eaten.
pegged or whatever, like it shouldn't be
Or
anyone's
eaten.
business. It shouldn't. Too, I also see too like a rise in like Puritan conversations online. I don't know what's going on, but people are so like uptight.
Yeah, and opinionated.
Yeah.
And it's like it's either, you're either one way or the other. Like I literally had this conversation before. It's like, look, everybody's gonna have a different perspective on things, okay? And I think
Mhm.
like you were definitely a great example of that, okay? You tried something that didn't align with you, right? Like
Mhm.
it had its also cons where it didn't pay well either. But you made a decision. You made a decision that you found something that you were passionate about and something that you're really good at, and you made something out of it. That to me is like the thing that 99 99.9% of people cannot do. Is to get out of their comfort zone and do something that they're you know what? I could talk to even for myself. Okay, I am a podcaster. I don't give a flying fuck what I say on this podcast. Okay, you want to be a woke ass liberal and come on here and debate me? Go right ahead. You want to come on here and start getting into all the heebie-jeebies of like the world is being controlled by aliens? By all means, I'm all ears. But at the end of the day, you need to be honest with yourself and you need to realize where you have to respect artists on individual levels, even though there's flaws within that philosophy, because there's something so beautiful that comes out of that. I mean, hey,
Yeah,
girl,
I yeah. I mean,
just
what
saying.
yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, we are artists, and what people fail to understand is that there is a reason why people keep coming back and why our industry keeps thriving is because people resonate with it, whether somebody, feels uncomfortable about it or not. It's something right that we're doing to keep people coming back and feeling comfortable in their own skin and being sexual beings that people don't always get to do outside of what we do and offer. And it's nothing wrong with that. I
No,
mean, I consider myself an adult artist, entertainment. I create, I make videos, podcasts.
which, by
Yeah,
the way, are all difficult things to do.
it's
With
very difficult.
y- especially learning, and I know this, especially learning with lighting and understanding like positionings, because
Hmm.
the thing that we tend to forget is humans, especially like when you're dealing with nudity, um, you have to get the right angles because sometimes things will look like weird. You're like,
Hmm.
huh? And you got to take all of this in mind. And like, again, I don't know how big your team is. Sometimes you're dealing with small staff and crew, and sometimes you're dealing with rigorous hours. And this stuff costs money too. You're
Hmm.
pouring like your own blood, sweat, and tears into this to be able to make it. Like you're hardworking like anybody else. It's because it's adult content.
Yeah, it takes a lot of work. The same work I did as a news producer, I do now. Like I do pre-scheduling and editing and like
You have that experience
scripts.
to apply to this too, right? Which is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, honestly, I think me working in the news helps me do what I do now in terms of the skills I learn. And I mean, I'm just naked now, but I mean,
Hey,
I
Fox
still
News,
do it.
CNN, watch out.
Yeah, like I think people think it's easy. Like you can post like a foot or like your tits, and people will just give you $1,000 or something. And that's not how it works. Like you have to gain trust. It takes emotional intelligence to do what we do. To give people it. There's not people just giving out their money just to strangers online. And to pull money out of people and entertain and make people feel comfortable, that's a skill that everyone can't do, to be
No.
honest. Like,
Uh, it's interesting because I said earlier about I literally went on a first date to a gay sauna with somebody, um, and I'll be honest, I think it was probably one of the greatest experiences I had on a first date because like I'm very much like my love language is intimacy, like intimacy in regards to like skin on skin. I don't know like why, like for me, like just being nude with another person, just I like can almost feel the spiritual like vibe and connection there.
mhm,
I feel like again like I love history. If you look throughout history, the most beautiful art that we have showing like the human form in sculpture and painting, like there's something about clothes that we don't realize, that just like animals don't wear clothes,
mhm,
um we don't always wear clothes. It's just for people outside. um And yeah, honestly, like that really taught me something deep about myself, about
mhm,
that experience. And whether people realize that or not, I don't know about all your clients. Maybe some of them are just horny as fuck, and that's okay. But some of them might be trying to figure that out themselves and don't really know how to do it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they do. I
Right?
get people who are comfortable, who like to be sometimes they'll call me naked, like, in public somewhere, like, in their backyard or something, and then you'll have those people who are a little shy, or they may come from, like a Christian background or something where they can't really, like, they didn't talk about it, and those are
Damn, girl, you
usually the
got the Catholics?
freakiest.
Ooh! And we got
Those
a
are
new
the
pope too.
freakiest. Those
Oh
are
boy.
yeah. They love, like, nun content. Like, I've done content, like, naughty nun or, like, a prayer about being, like, a naughty
Typical
slut, and they
Catholics.
just love that.
Yeah, I love that shit.
Yeah, like,
Oh,
I've gotten people who are, like, pastors, and, like, it's like you get people who you don't expect to come to us who are, like, naughty, just trying to
I
find a space where they can just be deviant.
yeah, if you deprive people of sexual
Mhm.
connection and interaction, people get a bit horny. It's just like
Mhm.
we're freaking mammals, okay? I get it. Like we're like the highly crazy, like, but at the end of the day, is we have sex organs. That's what being mammal is. Okay, you kind of
Mhm.
have sex organs and you have sexual intent. I mean, look at all the freaking mammals. Like the second they get horny, like, hey, let's go after the lady gorilla. All right,
Mhm.
boys. So you got to say to yourself, okay, if that's what human beings are, then you run into those experiences with people that are literally being
Mhm.
deprived of that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest, like I was celibate for like 6 years. Okay. And then I
What?
had a relationship last year and then was celibate for like 12 months.
Wow.
Yeah. And like a lot of it was because like I just wasn't comfortable in trying to figure out myself. But there are those scenarios where they're like they're not figuring out and trying to get to that place. No, no, they're doing it because of part of a service, whatever. And like I commend those people. But
Mhm.
at the same time, I'm like, why? Why are you hurting? Like seriously, you're hurting yourself. That must be so freaking depressing. And I mean, hence you come in and like be able to give that to them, but like you
Mhm.
wish they had like a real, like actually had that in real life all the time. They just don't.
Yeah, a lot of them for what I've seen is like a lot of them want to keep it separate too.
Mhm.
Like they want their
Double
life that they
life.
show to
Hmm.
appear like, oh, this like wholesome man with a family and kids. And then meanwhile, he's on the phone with me telling me how he likes to get dicked down by like a guy or something, but like he they he wants to present as this person, but he has like a totally different life that he can't be himself in front of other like people, or it's just a lot of them just like to keep it separate. Even like too, like I do a lot of ebony content where I attract a lot of like white men where they have this like, oh, like this family, and but I secretly am attracted to black women, or I have this fantasy that I want to do with you that I can't really say in front of my peers. So it's like different types of people who just live two different
Wow,
lives and they like to keep it that way.
it's crazy.
So
I grew up in an Orthodox Jewish community in New York. And what's interesting, especially in that community, a lot of the times, you run into people that get married really young and they don't really know how to sexually explore with their partners. In some cases, some of these guys or girls realize, I actually like pussy or dick, and my partner doesn't have that. And then you're lost. You're like, what do I do? And a lot of the times, like, either people live those double lives or secretly try to
Mhm,
search out to get those things. And you know what? Like, you got to be kind to people, okay?
mhm.
Because you cannot understand every single person's situation.
Right.
And to judge them and say, well, well, they're porn addicts, or like they're addicted to adult content. Like, do you live their
Yeah.
life? Do you pay their
Yeah,
bills? Do you live in their house?
right. And like that's another thing too. Like, yeah, like people like, porn online when people are like, men are just porn addicts jerking off. And it's like there's a deeper reason to why people come. Like, I don't think people should be like put down for being horny. Like I don't
Everybody
understand
gets
the
horny.
rhetoric. Right. We all
Everybody, even women,
masturbate.
even men,
Yeah.
everybody. And I
Men, women, right. And like people just get so uncomfortable. Like,
they do. You know what the thing also is? Sometimes people, as we want to talk about men, for example. There are guys that, again, we emotionally deprive ourselves. And a lot of
mhm,
guys just don't know on how to like open themselves up towards women. Like, I know somebody that he has a hard time like having open sexual conversations with women. He just shuts down. He just doesn't know how to do it. And you know what? Like, I get it. Like, women have a lot of fucking issues in this country, especially with sexual assault and trafficking, a lot of things. But men do too. Okay, like,
mhm.
I mean, hey, there's James Charles. All right, there's tons of straight guys that get raped, molested, sexually assaulted by
Oh
other
yeah.
males, by gay
Yeah.
males.
Mhm.
These are real things, like male mental health is like, get it. I get it. Men have been
Mhm.
fucking terrible to women. All right, I grew up in a community where men were terrible to women, but that doesn't mean all men are like that. I
Mhm.
I've met some really amazing straight guys, especially in relationships. They really do care and they open up to their wife or their partner or whoever it may be.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, like yeah.
people talk about it. Yeah,
No,
sorry.
it's true. No, no, it's true. Like even like I've had men admit to me that they've been molested or raped. Like they just don't, they wouldn't even tell a therapist, like by a male neighbor or their mothers. Like you hear that kind of stuff like as phone sex operators, that we're the only people sometimes people feel comfortable even opening up about that, and like they don't know how to process it, and they may have a fantasy based on it because that's the only way they can really address it or process what happened to them. So yeah, that and two, yeah, I've gotten to know a lot of my customers who are like normal guys, and they're just kinky. They may be into something, and they're really nice. Like I've gained a lot of uh, connection with my male customers that they don't often. I don't often get to see that side of them outside of this, and it does make me have empathy towards men and just people in general.
Yeah.
Like, like
There's really
everyone's going
no
through something.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
really no gender war here. And I
mm,
really feel that, especially as a, so what that I'm gay? Guess what? I'm a man too. And if I
yeah,
can be able to respect women for who they are and just that, other guys can do that too. It's this idea of like the two side. Yes, there are things biologically that are 100% different. And I think, especially with women's health and men's health, my opinion, women should speak for women's health, including abortions.
mm,
And men should speak for men's health. Plain and simple. It's not trying to like genderfy anything. It's that when you talking about biologically and those things, I agree with you 100%. But when it comes to mentally, physically, being able to have an intellectual conversation, breaking down subjects, getting in depth with different things, that two gender thing kind of goes out the window a little bit.
yeah. I mean, we have differences, and then we also have a lot in common. I mean, we're all human. I mean, I don't mean to sound like a like a hippie, but I mean, we are. We we're all the same. There are different things about us, especially with sexual drive too. I think there are differences, but I think there are a lot of similarities that people just don't like to overlap,
Mhm.
because at the end of the day, like, I think is we're at a time where people are having a hard time understanding other people because they don't see the perspective of the other person, and they
No.
just don't care.
And
But I'm forced to see. I'm not forced to, but I see it every day, And I think that's allowed me to just have a different type of viewpoint of people who are different than
You
I am.
you know what it is though? It's that in-depth part of it where it's that interaction. Like I always try my best to try to have open conversations with people outside of this podcast, even people that I interact with every single day. And it's like I don't need media. I don't need MSNBC. I don't need Fox. I don't need any of this crap. You know? And I think a lot of things comes to heart where if you're passionate about something and something that you care about, and obviously you built meaningful connections. I personally don't think you're trying to take advantage of anybody. You're trying to perform and be the best version of yourself that you can give out. And that
Yeah.
could be a lot of things like, your routine that you have. A lot of people kind of create that kind of stuff, especially like also when you're doing podcasting on top of that.
Yeah.
But it all comes down to if we generalize, if we throw diversity, if we start labeling ourselves based off of the color of our freaking skin,
Mhm.
we start labeling sexuality as, oh, well, this is the thing that pisses me off, and I'm sorry to get a little political here. This is the thing that pisses me off the most is that we have a problem with adult content, but we have no problem with puberty blockers and having kids going through this whole prognosis at a young age of transitioning. Okay. I I'm not a trans person. I'm not speaking for trans people. All I am saying is that, like I said earlier, don't mix adult things with kids the same way you wouldn't want to like if you had a client right now, I'm sorry. If you had a client right now that you found out was a pedophile or a sexual offender, what do you think you're gonna what
I
would you
usually
do?
just report them to the company, and then they usually call the police. This is honest, like this.
There you
If
go.
I suspect, I go to the company, and they usually just handle it with the law, to
Okay.
be honest.
Right. Okay. So again, to my point is you want to merge these things together like, oh, they're in cahoots. No, they're not in cahoots. Like there are probably plenty of people in an industry, especially like yourself. The second you run into that shit, Popo is going to be there in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, no, yeah, like websites, they've cracked down on that. Like they don't even allow you to say certain words. Like when people discuss like, oh, like it's exposing people. These sites, the moment you write something or upload something, they will kick you off. You will be banned forever. So they're very serious about certain content not being allowed on these websites.
You need to have
Hmm.
your own security. And the thing that people realize is when you scrutinize an industry, they got to figure out a way of being able to protect themselves. Because
Hmm.
in the end of the day, is the second you start labelization, I hate that crap. Because then you slap these long labels on things and give justification as to why they're in cahoots or in corporation, or um profiting off of this somehow. My God, if anybody thinks for a freaking second that any sane individual such as yourself thinks it's okay to somebody to profit off of child pornography, dear Lord have mercy.
Yeah, that's like a whole, especially with like AI,
Yes.
you can put faces now on body. That's what they really need to be doing. They're over here messing with us when they really need to be investigating people taking pictures, faces, and putting them in AI and having kids have sex with each other and as a
Which
thing.
is
Like that's a whole nother thing that's happening that they really need to just focus on that
you know what
because
you know what the
that's
issue is? Okay, you have companies like OpenAI, which created ChatGPT, right?
hmm
Here's the reality. They can't even control the freaking language format anymore. All right? Because the thing about large language models or formats, which basically in plain English is just imagine like 10 million pages of code. Okay? You need I can't even imagine how many computers and backups just to keep that thing operating. And you have to just keep building more buildings, just keeping that operating. People say like, "Oh, when is autonomy going to come?" Here's the crazy part, okay? The second autonomy comes to any of these programs or algorithms, we're fucked because now we don't have any control. Nobody is saying that we should control this shit, okay? What we're trying to say, and I think you're bringing this up too, which is really important, is there needs to be some level of like, hey, don't put no bias shit in there. Don't start making it political and all that crap. Don't start putting restrictions and loopholes. We got to figure out how to make this in small spaces because the second this thing starts to blow up, what the hell are you supposed to do as an artist? You know what I mean? Like they can
Yeah.
come after your likeness and then start using that shit on who the fuck knows and selling that to China and India. Like
Yeah.
you got to be able to protect yourself. And
Mhm.
again, is anybody like, can we move the spotlight just just, just a little bit to the left?
No, yeah, it's true. You do need a good brand. You need to protect yourself, like you said, doing this. And I even too, like with me, like I always, well, I copyright, and trademark my stuff, but I'm sure hopefully they'll come out with things where you can detect people copying your image, which I'm sure they probably have. But you do have to be more diligent when you are an artist and people copying you, which somebody people are already trying that. But
Yeah.
I'm on it. But yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy. And I mean, again, it's a lot of it is because we put so much of our focus and effort, I feel, in the wrong places. Instead of having the real hardcore conversations, okay? If you want to start getting into the conservative against the liberal, the Democrat against the Republican, the
Mhm.
pro environmentalist, none of this matters, man. Okay? We live in one big goddamn country with a lot of
Yeah.
creative artists throughout different industries like music, adult content, you have film, like indie films is a great example. Like it's just writers and but if we don't protect this part of what makes us us, okay, we're forgetting the whole entire picture of what being American. You know what being American is? It's realizing that we've all came here for different opportunities. And we're all trying to create and make amazing type of shit with whatever we can to be as passionate as can. You
Mhm.
know what we've ended up with? Worker bees, working 9 to 5, driving
Yeah.
Kias. Why are you alive? Like I'm dead ass. Like I say to myself, like, do you really want to just be 65? Retire. Come to Boca Raton, Florida. Great.
Yeah.
Buy a condo. Like it's great. That sounds
Yeah.
boring. Like,
Well,
ugh.
I think the thing with that too is that like I'm all for people doing that. Like if that's what you want to do, but don't criticize people who choose not
Other
to
life. Yeah. Like
work a 9 to 5. Which
yeah.
I think this was happening. Is like that's why I see in the comments I have to work a 9 to 5 while you're up here like sending pictures and news. When it's like that's what you chose. You shouldn't get mad at me for doing what I'm doing.
And
You
it's
can
like
join OnlyFans too if you want.
the crazy
Sell some
part though is like
pictures.
you're working more than 8 hours, right?
Yeah. It's a lot of work. It's more than a 9 to 5. I'm working more than I work as a news producer.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I spoke to a porn filmmaker and I asked him also the same question. Like, do people freaking realize that this shit takes a really long time to make? And again, like on the other side of adult content, like if you look at indie filmmakers or independent filmmakers that are like they run into a lot of freaking obstacles. Like they don't have freaking Sony and Disney, and Paramount and like all these freaking giants like protect. You don't have this. I like to call free money. It's like The Sims. You
Mhm.
just jailbreak it, and just get unlimited money. That's kind of what they are. It's just unlimited money. It's like, hey, I want 3 Bugattis. Give me.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's I think that's what content creation is about too. Whether you make adult content or not, you
It
have
works hand in
to
hand, both sides.
yeah, yeah, like you have to be your own boss. And like you said, like there is no network that you can upload your content, but what's so great is that you can post, and make your own way online, and more people should definitely take advantage of that, just
There's
like
a lot.
you and your podcast. So.
I'm just happy I'm not banned yet, you know? Like, it's like one of those things where when you're kinda low key and kinda under the radar, like, nobody really bothers you, but, like, the second you start getting up there, like, shit starts to hit the fan, and the honest truth, like, I do this because I love talking to people and, like, literally having, like, a good vibe, and I mean, heck, like, you're freaking awesome in and itself. I mean, not only, like, have
Oh,
you, like,
thank you.
changed your career and made something of yourself, like, you made a podcast and you're talking openly about this stuff, like, hey, man, we come from different sides of the world, we can come from different sides of the spectrum, like, it doesn't freaking matter, like, you know what our problem is? You know what the mental health crisis? You know our entire freaking issues? We don't freaking talk. We
It's
yell,
true.
we fight, we scream.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. Like, to be honest, like, I'm going to be honest, my customers come from all different political I don't care. Like, for me,
Doesn't
like,
matter.
I have customers who are super liberal. I have customers who are Trump supporters. I have politicians. I have all kind of people coming to me, and I don't care. You like, and but you get to know people past those labels that people have. And like you said, it doesn't matter. Like, and honestly, half those the people who say they're against something in public, a lot of them like people who say they're against adult content, like politicians, a lot of them are not. Like they're doing what they're preaching against. And then you just see that people are just human. Like it's not that deep.
You know what? And the end of the day, I realize this too because I have a lesbian couple, and I've said this before. Like, I'm close friends with them. They live in Brooklyn, and they're liberal, and they go by they pronouns. But the cool thing about them is, if I say she by accident, give me a hard time. I don't care. And again, two different sides of, like, the spectrum, like, two different sides of the conversation, and it's weird. They're artists and creative people. We come from very similar backgrounds. We have a lot of things that we vibe and connect with. And I'm one of those, like, talking on politicians. The problem is politicians should be volunteers. That's as a libertarian, like, you shouldn't be paid, man. Like, I'd rather pay my taxes for whoever's taken 29 years to fix the highway. I think that at least is going to happen in 29 years.
Yeah.
You, I don't know.
Well, I could tell you a lot of them are probably paying dominatrix or paying their dues.
Honey, I live in Florida. What do
Paying
you
some
think our
sex
government
workers.
is made of? What do you think the government of Florida is made of?
I heard you all are really I heard I don't know if it's there or Texas. Maybe it is Florida where you all have a big adult scene down there or something. So I'm
Yes.
sure the politicians are involved. Maybe.
Massive. The issue with it's not an issue, it's like a kind of double-edged side of the sword with Florida, which people don't realize until you live down here. This state doesn't focus on citizens or civilians. It heavily focuses more on business infrastructure. In plain simple English, they care about businesses making money.
Hmm.
That's what business infrastructure is. It's just businesses making more money. So you have industries again. Nevada's the same way like this too. They have the same kind of
Hmm.
business. And again, I think this is why you get that label. You get that gaslighting effect where they're literally paying sex workers. I know that for a freaking fact. Okay. If you've met some of these Cubans, yeah, I'm going to say it right now. If you've met some of these freaking Cubans, all right, these people are freaky as shit. And I don't condone their behavior or whatever, but like this stuff does exist because of the regulations and things that exist within these states. So they're again able to label it as, oh, okay, well, it's non-consensual.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like with the consensual and non politicians love throwing that around. Well, it's non-consensual work and therefore it's no way to be controlled, or what do
A
you mean
lot of them
controlled?
a lot of them have escorts. Like, it's just so silly. Like, a lot of them probably are I'm 100% serious. Like, a lot of them probably see escorts, and like everything they're saying is just is a lot of us laugh, like sex workers, when we see politicians talking about this, because they it's not true. Like, they a lot of them don't live the lives that they portray. And they're paying for sex in one way or another. I can guarantee that.
It's honestly, it's really wild because even like I'm a cannabis smoker, and it's baffling to me. Even though I'm 26 and it's 2025.
You look so young.
Thank you.
Or younger.
Listen, I'm African, Moroccan, and hopefully I'm gonna age like fine wine. Please,
You will.
please. Um, but it's interesting where it's 2025, and as far as we've gotten, is it's I think substance Schedule 3. I'm like, I don't know. Like, you like hope that people like think in the future like things would be better, which to be honest, a lot of things are a lot better now. But it's
Yeah.
like so freaking slow. It's like it's like that character in Monsters University, when the bell rings and it's like and it's like, bro, you're gonna be there in like 9 years, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully we'll like
Yeah.
progress with these conversations on both sides, on all sides. Like, we should, have these conversations more and feel comfortable.
What do you think? Trying to pack out the brain. What do you think has been like your biggest inspiration for yourself? Because I think in internet stuff, like you have to learn you more
Mhm.
than anything else. Like you can't just be Pepper. You could put on like this actor persona or whatever, but it has to be genuinely you in order for you to do it every single day. What do
Mhm.
you think that is?
Yeah, well, my content reflects what I actually like, and I think that's why it's natural for me to make content. But also, just I'm honestly myself, like on cam calls and phone sex. Like, if like I'll do the role play, but I still bring on my personality that I have
It's
that
still
people
very
like.
much you.
Yeah, like I'm not like a fake person, or like pretending. Like, I tell them my age, like my race. Like, I'm just myself, and those who like me, then they'll pay me, and those who don't, then they'll choose someone else. But I'm 100% myself when I'm with them, and I think that's what they like, and that's what you have to be too. Like, an artist, you have to be yourself.
Uh,
You're selling yourself to people, and
yeah.
nobody wants to cam with a fake person.
No, and you know what?
You
It
know.
it goes deeper than that because it's not just even about selling yourself. It's selling the best version of yourself. And I tried
Mhm.
explaining this the other day, and like I finally had like this click. What that means being the better version of yourself is even if you like realize 2 days ago that you know what, maybe I'm doing something wrong. Like maybe I should try something different. You know what? Like maybe I should go towards this direction. Maybe this is going to work out better. That in itself is you are being the best version of yourself because again, like most people around you will be, they stay comfortable. I fucking hate
Mhm.
comfortable, man. I hate that shit. Like, I'm one of those that like I've gotten so bored by comfortable. Because the truth is, like, I grew up in a cult for like freaking 18 years of my life. Like, ugh,
Oh
ugh.
no. Yeah, no, I can imagine like being in a cult. Wow.
No, but you feel me? Like
That's
the idea of like always
yeah.
constantly staying comfortable. It's
Mhm.
like, how do you live
Yeah.
being comfortable? Like, live in the same boring ass town for your whole life. Like, doing a job you don't give a shit about. Like, ugh.
Yeah. I mean, people, you know, I think that's the problem. People are too comfortable. Like, we have to get uncomfortable. We have to talk about sex. That's my goal. Like, we all have to like get out of this. Everyone's trying to be the same, look the same, do the same thing. People don't like people who are people who are like that, they feel uncomfortable with people who are different or who aren't scared to be themselves. That's where it all boils down to, I
I
think.
I I think that's the ultimate fear of the media because, to be honest,
Mhm.
they kind of lost and we kind of won, which is kind of cool. You know, it's like the first. I've said this before. Like, this is the first time in human history we're independent artists. We have the upper hand. The
Mhm.
first time in history.
Yeah.
It's because, like, widely because of the internet. It's allowed us to do these
Mhm.
things, and you know what? It allows people to find those meaningful things that they connect to. You know what? If it's a conversation about sex, so have it. All right. This podcast is labeled explicit for a reason, honey. You know, I feel like this is important, not only for our time now, but also for history. You know, like I'm one of those weirdos, like, think about it. Maybe in like 10 years, somebody might be listening to this and be like,
It's true.
wow, Pepper Cat was talking about that 10 years ago. You know, I remember those interviews with Eartha Cat. Do you remember those? Like from,
Yeah, I love her so
I
much.
love her. Like, oh, she's so cool. And when you hear her talk, you hear this powerful woman that didn't give
Mhm.
a fuck. She said fuck on TV. And in these
No.
interviews, that to me just sparks value. It doesn't matter if it happens now, if it happens yesterday,
Right.
just do it. Just be you. Just let
I
the universe
agree.
take its course, man.
I agree. And this is one of the times, like you said, like you don't need to have special connections for people to see you. You just have to put yourself out there, you
Be
know.
the best
There's no
version of yourself.
gatekeeping
Yeah,
in
no
this.
gatekeeping. No, no, no. I think also that's important too is restriction, because a lot of the times, you get either too impatient, and then you find this wonderful deal and you sign this beautiful contract, and then you basically sell your soul to the devil. You limit yourself because you didn't believe you were worth anything more.
Hmm.
And nobody says nobody says being independent is easy. Nobody says that working within the underground scene is a fun ride, because it does. It comes with complications. You're not dealing with people that have crazy money. Okay, even
Hmm.
the biggest underground labels in Atlanta don't have the money that Sony has.
Hmm.
They don't. And that's okay. I think limitations and obstacles is what makes you stronger. We think, well, I lost. No, losing means that you know what to do next time so you can win. And if you
Hmm.
lose again, now you know more strategies and how you can
Right.
win.
Hmm. Yeah,
I mean,
I
come on,
agree.
like I don't think it's been an easy ride for you. Like, you've definitely run into obstacles and mistakes and situations that you're like, heck, I should not do that again. I should try something different.
Hmm.
And that's just a part of that growth, right?
It is.
Have you run into that,
Yeah.
by the way?
Yeah, it's some crazy like I've gotten banned off of like sites sometimes
Oh
like
my
you I'm
god.
not even gonna say but like things that I didn't think before I did it or like read the guidelines and it's my fault. I have to own up to it, but I know to like not do that. Or there have been times when I had a cam show, I didn't feel comfortable, but I did it because I just wanted to make money and it was something I can't unsee. Or something, I've had some hiccups. One day you can make $5 and the next day you can make a couple thousand. Like it is like you just have to just bet on yourself and just learn from your mistakes.
I think it's so
Yeah.
true, because if you think that you're failing, you're not being successful just because of something, like you said, like $5, or like doing something you're not really comfortable doing, but you'd like, hey, I'll do it for the money and shit, instead of like,
Hmm.
hey, is this something that I actually connect with? And by the way, people don't remember this too. Like, repeating customers, okay, is a strength. All
It
right. Like,
is.
I've kind of realized this being doing this podcast. A lot of the people that listen to this are repeating listeners. People
Mm.
that listen sometimes on a weekly basis or every 2 weeks. That to me means more than a freaking audience. You have
Yeah.
people that are passionate what you're doing and they want to come back and explore and see what else you've got to offer.
Yeah.
Instead of having like a million clients, you're like, oh, Jenny, Jenny, tell George I'm online. You're like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I try to remember that too because you do get a lot of trolls and like weird people who will like make comments online and stuff like that. But then I have to remember the people that always show up for me when I show up. And that's all that matters are the people who come back. So
You know
so I
why?
try to keep.
Because those are the people that generally want to see you for you and want to kind
Hmm.
of be either like part of the groove, or just getting in the jive. But like in the end of the day, that is a form of success. Because how many clickbaity TikTok stars? It's like, bro, you can have 20 million followers. All right, cool. But do those people listen to you and like want
Right.
to be a part of that and enjoy that experience? Like those again, OnlyFans people that got like I don't know, they got 10,000 subscribers and I don't know what kind of bullshit. But how many of those are actually meaningful connections that come back to back? You know,
Right. Yeah, and like that's why I made my podcast is because I wanted my fans to see a different side of me and not just like this pretty like naked girl, naked woman, but I wanted people to see me past that. So, and I think that's important too. Even in adult industry, I think you should allow people, which I mean, if you feel comfortable with people seeing you on a deeper level. So,
it, the truth, you are a real person. And
mhm,
outside of your art and what you do as an independent artist, you have your own life. You
mhm,
have your own story, you have your own connections and things. Like there we're dealing with people in the end of the day. We're just dealing with
yeah.
people that happen to be part of an industry that people very much mislead and misunderstand because they don't
Mhm.
do the proper research.
Yeah. It's crazy. I just hope people um get more comfortable with us. I don't know when people are gonna feel comfortable with the adult industry.
I mean,
It
I'm
seems
comfortable with it, you
yeah,
know.
yeah, you are and maybe there's more people than I would maybe I see it differently because I always see like the negative people, but maybe there are more people than I like to believe
I think
who
I think
accept it.
now I think more now than ever because I think people, especially even for myself, are becoming especially more picky with dating
Mhm.
people. And the thing I have actually come to realize is, especially when it comes to dating, if somebody wants to get intimate on a first date, so be it. Okay? If sex is kind of way of flourishing or making a connection or vibe, maybe even learning about yourself. Again, that is a part of what it is to be human. End of story.
Mhm.
And you probably also learned a lot from your own career and then also from being a podcaster that you're able to like establish within your own life. I've literally had like guys I've went out with like, damn, I can really understand why you're a podcaster. I started like literally having a podcast with them in the freaking car, you know?
Right, right, because you
Right?
probably like to like break down
Yeah,
things and
exactly.
go
So,
deep into conversation.
like, so do you like to be on the top or the bottom? Like, what? Oh my god, I love that. What was I gonna? Oh, we've talked a lot about your podcast. Just a little bit, if you want to like break it down. Also, where can these incredible people find you and
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, if
watch
you
your
want
videos?
to listen to my podcast, you can visit spicyspectrumpodcast.com. And if you want to visit my main site with my adventures and what I do um, behind closed doors, you can visit designyourdreamgirl.com. And it should have my social media, camming if you want to do a show or have a phone call and not feel ashamed of being naughty. But
100%.
those are the two sites that you can find
Yeah,
me.
I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put that in the description box.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
Because I do publish this on YouTube and Rumble, I am definitely going to put a little discretion in the description box. So if they decide to start doing their copyright and striking crap,
Oh man, yeah, sorry.
no,
And
no, no, you're
hopefully they don't do
perfectly
that.
fine. They're
Okay.
by regulation, I make sure pretty much all of the episodes are explicit and are primarily like adult content. Because again, most of what I'm talking like this is not for kids. Like even some of the heavier conversations and things I'm like, yeah. But you are incredible, and if people definitely want to find out your
Thank you.
podcast and definitely your work, they should definitely have the opportunity to find that stuff. So I'll make sure to definitely leave links and stuff.
Thank you.
Links and stuff.
Perfect. Thank you so
My
much. I appreciate
pleasure.
being on here.
Oh my god, we went so many different directions.
We did.
Mhm. And you know what? Again, there needs to be more conversations like this. Like there needs to be that open space of where this is normal part of being an adult. You know what? We got to get out of that mind frame. Like, okay,
Yeah.
everybody that's an adult deals with this shit.
Mhm.
So when you got people like you that are open, expressive, got your own podcast, penned it, figuring it along the road.
Well said.
Listen, Pepper, thank you so much for coming on. To anybody out there for checking out the podcast, at Lawson. That,